I want to welcome you to the Charly Crawford podcast. Let's ride.
Well, welcome back for part two.
Yeah.
So I had some complications last week with Jake Long. We just did an audio podcast, and my SD card went south. And then this time we had another stellar podcast yesterday with you. Then I guess the storage on your phone got full, and so we had to redo it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do it again.
I appreciate it. It's good here for it because it's raining. Is it raining over there too?
Yeah, it rained last night and it's just drizzling here now, but it's not. Hopefully it stops and we can still rope. It's not too wet.
Yeah. So kind of good for it here. So I appreciate it. Thanks again.
No, thank
And
you.
should be an easy one again. What's been going on with the HV or the EVH1 outbreak over there? You guys been hearing anything more about it over there in Arizona?
I ain't heard just a whole lot about it by like canceling stuff and everything. I don't think there's just a whole lot of cases from what I know in Arizona yet, but I think there's certain producers taking precautions and some that aren't. And I don't know. We've kind of just been hanging out more or less. Hadn't really went anywhere. And whoever comes ropes is people that come rope every single day. So it's not really, they go somewhere, we go. So we haven't really just shut down.
Yeah, it was real here. Me and Journey, we was out just loping our horses around, I think Tuesday night, and Jackie said something about it. But we hear those little things like that pop up all the time.
Right.
And you just kind of almost instantly just kind of let it pass by. You don't think much of it, and kind of you figure time's going to kind of show whether it's legit or whether it's not. And then I think everyone has a little bit of PTSD from COVID.
Yes.
And how real this really is. And then by the time I got done riding with Journey and I got back to my phone, then man, it was blowing up everywhere.
Yeah, it's dang sure taking social media by storm.
Yeah.
It's about all you see on there now. But
Mhm.
I mean, doesn't sound great, that's for sure.
I think it originated from the WPRA finals, and then it kind of started, and it sounds like it's almost taken a week to almost started seeing where it was starting to create casualties. I
Right.
think my lesson started getting canceled, and then started seeing where other guys it was getting serious. So I called my vet, because we're kind of in the middle of it here.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then I talked to him, and he had said there was up to 25 deaths. I think it started about Sunday of this week, and then Monday it got real. And I was talking to him yesterday, and I hadn't heard much more today. I know there's more cancellations for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot more precautions. Yeah, he said that it's pretty serious. He said the virus is super aggressive, 50% mortality rate. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that is.
Great caution. Do not allow outside horses on your place. And that's, like I said, that's where we're at here. And do not let your horses leave the place. Vaccinate your horses with boosters. And I think that's if horses that don't look like they're having any symptoms. 'Cause I don't think they're recommending getting a virus shot or the vaccine shot if they have it, because it'll dilute their I think immune system.
Right.
But yeah, they're talking about 10 days. Temp every horse twice a day if you can, and then keep a log of it. And
Yeah.
I think he said anything over 101.5 needs immediate vet attention. So yeah, it was I guess the symptoms are fever, neurological changes, aborting mares, nasal discharge, cough, depression, lethargic, weakness, stumbling. And he said some horses can show no symptoms at all and still be spreaders of the virus.
Yeah, that's
Um,
scary.
real scary. And, I talked to him again a little bit this morning, and he just says not much has really changed, but he said, man, be careful what you look at on social media, kind of like what we're talking about, because that's where it's so hard to find truth and
Right.
opinion. And he said it's continually evolving. Travel restrictions are coming out. Definitely now closed state borders. So if anyone was at the BFA and some of the other finals, I think WPRA finals, they need to stay home for 21 days. After that event, temp horses twice a day on the entire premises. And yeah, it's wild. I'd seen where Kimes Ranch had rescheduled the $1 million breakaway. I think they
The
postponed it to December 20 or December 15th through the
15th.
21st. So
Yeah. I know my wife was going to enter yesterday, and I said, well, I'll just hold off maybe a little bit, see
it
what they're going
looks
to do.
like it looks like this week a guy's going to know a lot more.
Yeah.
It feels like this is kind of the week where, you know, because we're kind of right there on the line of being a couple weeks out of Vegas. So I think a guy's going to know a lot more when it comes to that. I feel like by the end of this week.
Yeah, I think so too. And I know the NFR, they sent us a deal, the same thing. Keep a log on your horse's temperatures and stuff like that. They've sent out yesterday, but just take precautions, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was talking to Bueller this morning, and he was getting phone calls of guys like, "Hey, man, if we can't get our horses across state lines, can we mount up over there at the NFR?" So
Right.
even talking to Thorpe this morning, like, the Smarty practice is going to be real right now because guys ain't able to travel and rope with their partners before the
No,
NFR right now.
that's just it too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. So
it's kind of quite, which that's the same thing we talked to. I think I talked to Jake Smith last night, and that's what he said. He's like, Doug don't know what he's doing over there.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So it's concerning. It's be wild to see what happens in the next week. So hopefully, I think the way everyone talks is, man, if a guy can stay put, this thing should hopefully die out. And then,
Yeah.
because man, I imagine one horse going to Vegas that has it. If it's
Oh
airborne,
yeah.
the junior events, the high school events, the the team roping, the
Yes.
breakaways, the NFR, the stock contractors. I mean, it could get wildly out of control if it.
Oh
Hopefully, we
yeah.
get it killed off by
There's
Vegas.
800 teams in the number 10 and 9 or whatever in Vegas.
Yeah,
That's a ton of horses. That's
yeah. So yeah, it could get real fast. So just kind of one of those things too, where Kimes Ranch, man, just for one, stepping up and adding, the $1 million breakaway for the industry, seeing a hole for the breakaway ropers and stepping up, but then also, putting the horses first and rescheduling their breakaway. I mean,
yes.
just hats off to what that company is doing for the industry.
Yeah, they prove that they want to have it every
Mhm.
single time, putting money up or making it better and just making sure they can have it. It's unreal what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is so hard because especially when this is your livelihood is also remember, man, the horse got to come first because,
Yeah.
without them, it's going to be pretty dang difficult to make that living. So it's a difficult decision, but not if a guy thinks about what the death rate is and what the casualties could be for your livelihood, and
Right.
you're putting your horse first. Well, man, you're getting ready for the NFR. This is going to be a little bit different way to do it, I guess, than what we normally get to with what's going on. Because I was talking to Thorpe and sound like they're not even going to the Arizona jackpots, and so a
Yeah.
guy's going to be not going to as many competitions. It looks like right before the NFR.
Yeah, and I don't know if we were gonna go to everything anyhow in Arizona. I mean, rather than it's one of the best weeks of jackpotting in Arizona through the winter for us. And we were probably gonna go to some, but now if they don't have none, it ain't not a real big deal kind of thing. I mean, it's if you can't feel like you're competitive when you walk in there, I think, from looking at it. I think it should get the competitive juices going just showing up in Vegas.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be real special for you and your brother coming in there from Canada and being roping in tight buildings, roping in hockey rinks. I think it's going to be pretty simple for you guys. I feel like that you're almost going to feel at home.
Yeah, and it was funny. Beeler and I were talking about it when we made it. Once we were driving home, basically. That's what he said. He said, everybody's gonna tell you how small it is. He said, it feels huge compared to some of the rodeos at home.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talk a little bit about your guys' year. We talked a little bit about it, a lot about it yesterday, but I think it's interesting when you guys, how close you were the 2 years ago, then last year, and then now this year making it. I think it's really cool. Like when you guys look at the integrity of your brother, you and your brother, how well you guys get along. But then, even last year, I was keeping track of you guys. Like you guys were staying solid. It just didn't, some things didn't go your way, but the runs were coming your way. And it looked like you guys had a good spring, good winter, then a little bit of a dry spell this summer. But then when
Yeah.
the fourth quarter started, you guys hit your stride at the right time.
Oh yeah, and our winter was great, or I mean not great, great, but it was good. I mean, we won decent in the winter. Spring was decent, and then we kind of got slowed down, I guess, through the summer for some reason, and then we was kind of make or break at time, and that's when we started doing really good. That was the end of the year was the funnest part. Seemed like we even if we did miss one, it was like, okay, tomorrow we'll make money tomorrow type deal. It was a that part of it. Kind of the last end, it was, and yeah, we were on the bubble, and we were kind of on the bubble most of the year, honestly. But you kind of get, I guess, used to that, where it's like just do your job, keep winning. The problem is everybody's winning at that time though. But you just gotta
Talk
keep.
about, because it seems like it's almost a heart rate, in a way when you're rodeoing, it goes good, then it goes down, then it goes good. Like it's really hard to just keep that steady level, and I don't think anyone can do it. You look at the
No,
NBA, you look at the professional athletes, they're never staying peaked. There's always going to be a little bit of that going on. So like having a good spring, having a good winter, going into summertime, when you guys when it wasn't peaking, what do you feel like it was? What was the mentality, and how did you guys feel like all of a sudden it just got back to where you were hitting just right come fourth quarter?
yeah, and I never get the peaks and valleys too bad. I'm pretty level and don't really. I'm pretty forgetful, I guess. I can put the last one behind pretty quickly. I mean, it might take a quick little drive all night while you have to sit there and be mad driving somewhere, but I'm pretty good at getting over it and not really dwelling on it. I mean, you travel with two guys like Cash Bonnet and Logan Cullen, and then my brother in the rig. I mean, we don't really let each other get down too badly, even if we're not winning. And if you are winning, usually the other team, hopefully they're winning too, but sometimes they're not. So you kind of got to even it out.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just keep pretty level headed most of the summer, even when it is going bad. Or I know, kind of, we went home, I don't know, for like 2 days, and we just roped, saddled every out of shape horse we had, just roped for 2 days there, kind of after the summer. And then we felt ready type deal. It was just one of them things that maybe it was a reset that could have helped.
That's the one thing that's so hard about the summer, man, is if a guy can hit it just right, Napa, Reno, 4th of July, and that's the goal. That's why I think
Yes.
everyone's so optimistic when they get to Napa and Reno, is because like everyone's going to make the NFR. Everyone's
Right.
going to have a kick-ass 4th of July. Everyone's spirits are high. And then it changes usually right after the 4th of July, and
Yeah.
so it seems like it can peak and drop, but like, you talk about being able to stay sharp throughout the summer. There's a lot of variables. There could be horses, there can be, all of a sudden you get in a glitch, drawing can be a part, getting upright can be a part. And
Yes.
so staying that course with what you're talking about is so important that time of year, because it can go fast.
Yeah.
What I've seen where guys like where you have like almost that duck mentality, where like the losses just roll off your back like rain off a duck's back. Now internally,
Right.
that's when Martin Lucero, he's talking about like being a duck. He said, don't let them see you paddle underneath right there.
Yes.
But he said, just let the rain roll off your back like a duck. And I think that's so important throughout that, because I've struggled with when you're going through those dips or those valleys, then it doesn't take long before that can affect the next one that could have been that
Right.
next steer that could get you back on that roll.
Yeah, and I mean, that kinda happened a little bit through the summer. The summer was a tricky deal. It kept us just thinking that we were that close to doing it. Like, I don't know, we had a good call at Reno. I missed one at Reno. And then we'd do good, screw up maybe in Panoka, win the second round at Panoka. Like, I mean, it was teasing us just a little
Mhm.
bit every time, it seemed like, but we were still clicking away. I guess we had enough money to keep going to the next place, kinda thing. But
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, you feel it when you start missing. You miss the short round steer at Reno when we watched Bueller literally go doctor one to win it after I just reached and split the horns and was smashing my head on the saddle horn. But
Yeah.
that's part
Those
of
are
it. I mean,
hard
that's
ones, man. There's one thing I think when the short round tightens up and you've got to make a, a salty run to stay within them. Then there's one, man, where a guy misses and it just falls apart, and you're like,
yes.
those ones for me were the hard ones to swallow,
Yeah. No, that was exactly that one. And it
especially
was, I
right
mean,
before the 4th of July, too.
yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna happen again probably somewhere. Hate to say it, hate to have that happen again, but it's probably gonna.
Talk about what it's like rodeoing with your brother, because I know that there's certain things to where when you're growing up, being brothers, it can be difficult, but everything that I've heard is like you guys are kind of like Bueller said, man, he said you guys portray the best brother partnership going, because he said you'll never hear a bad word about one another.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit like what it's like throughout the whole year, and you guys, I guess you probably, since you guys started, have been roping together, probably since you guys got your card.
Yeah, yeah, since we bought our Canadian card because we can do that under 18. So I think we bought that in 2016. I would have been 17, he was 15, and then we roped ever since. We never hardly we maybe messed around a little bit high school rodeoing that way, but never like amateur rodeo that end, nothing. He headed forever, and we'd kind of just mess around both ends. And then in 16, he decided he's buying a heel horse and he's going heeling. And we ain't looked back since, which we've always healed and headed and messed around. Let's just say we found the right fit. Me heading, him healing, because it ain't, we tried in the 15s or 16s or whatever it is once in a while, and we realized that we just donated it again. But it's good. And there ain't ever a bad word between the two of us. I mean, shoot, until I got the place here in Arizona, we lived together every single day. It wasn't like I mean, see each other, talk on the phone every day. If we're not around each other, it's pretty good brothership. I mean, he's a year and a half younger, but like everything we did, whether it was playing hockey or roping or jackpotting, we roped. It was just the same. I mean, he'd play underage or he was a year and a half younger, so it didn't matter what was going on. He was doing it, so we kind of just everything we did, whether it was rope the dummy in the basement, rope the fast lane outside. It was have a race to see who had to unsaddle the horses. The loser had to unsaddle. I mean, it was anything.
Yeah. Well, talk about so you're older and he's the healer. So who does the entries and who does all the logistics and planning for your guys' team?
Yeah, he does absolutely everything. I don't enter. I don't know when we're up. People call me for trades. I don't really answer my phone because I don't know when I'm up. You enter a month in advance. There's no way I know where I'm at in a month. No way. So I just send his phone number over. But it's unreal how many people call the header for trades because they just assume that. But I don't do none of it. He better send me a schedule or be in the same rig as me because I don't know what we're doing next.
Yeah, because you being older and the brother, that is kind of the stereotype where usually those are the guys that take control.
Yeah, and that's totally opposite. I guess I missed enough entries in Canada when we first started going that he decided to take over.
That'll do it. That's awesome. Who are you guys buddied with all year?
Cash Bonnet and Logan Cullen. They won Canada this year. They went most of the year, and then kind of towards the end they went home, made sure to get the Canadian finals made, and they had awesome Canadian finals. So, and they're literally our best friends. We all live 15 minutes from each other in Arizona all winter most of the time, as long as Cash is down here. But yeah, it's pretty cool to rodeo with your friends, and we all pile in one rig, maybe like the circus sometimes, but I don't know. We like that better than traveling separate and messing around. Unless my family wants to come, then I'll take my own rig. But
hey, friends, if you're looking for something that inspires grit, creativity, and good old-fashioned hard work, you've got to check out Ezra Tech Ranch Gear. This isn't just another brand. It's a group of homeschooled teenagers who are learning to enterprise, building real skills, and producing high-quality gear that stands up to ranch life and beyond right here in Texas. Each piece is hand-tooled by these young men and women themselves, and the craftsmanship speaks for itself. Their truck scabbard, it's their top seller. Rugged, practical, and built to last. If you're looking for something unique for your business, they even create custom corporate gifts with your company logo. And here's what I love. Every purchase not only gets you gear you can count on, but it also supports the next generation of entrepreneurs who are learning what it takes to work hard, create value, and build something meaningful with their own two hands. Whether you're a rancher, a business owner, or just someone who loves quality American-made gear, check out Ezra Tech Ranch Gear at EzraTechGear.com. To get a 10% discount, use promo code CHARLY10. That's CHARLY10. EzraTechGear.com, where craftsmanship meets enterprise and the future is being built one tool at a time.
All right. So you guys are buddied all year long? Who are the guys you buddied with?
Yeah, we buddied with Cash Bonnet and Logan Cullen. I mean, they're two of our best friends. We'll pile in a truck and trailer and the four of us and just go down the road together. It's not like we don't like to take a rig each. I said, unless if it's my family comes or something like that happens, that I'll go in my own rig. But usually it's the four of us and we're just a big circus.
I tell you what's been interesting to me watching and excited about it too, because, for me, team roping, especially coming from Canada, you guys have to work so much more harder than we do down here. In Texas, we just got to wait for it to quit raining, or we find an indoor barn, and it's pretty simple, pretty easy. I don't know. There's about 5 indoor arenas just from my house within a 5-10 mile radius. And, if it's an ice storm, you might have to wait till it thaws out, which is only just a week, a couple days. Arizona's got to wait for it to cool off, so it's not like we have much downtime. But when we talk about how much adversity it is for Canadians to rope through the winter and things like that, you guys have to try so much harder than we do. But I love the fact that where you're seeing team roping really taking off. I did a podcast with Calgary and was talking to them about the fact that the Calgary Stampede doesn't have team roping in the performance. Hopefully the key word is yet. And, when I was bringing their attention, the bronc riding is special up there for a reason, because, you guys have a strong bronc riding pedigree up there, I think, because the horses buck so good because it's cold all the time.
Yes.
But when you're seeing, you guys are known for bronc riders, but I think 12 bronc riders were in the top 50 up there in Canada. But you got 9 guys in the team rope when they're in the top 50. So, you guys are starting to see a lot more team roping getting noticed on the top stage coming from Canada.
Yeah, it's cool. That kind of affected us more when we were younger, growing up type deal, the winters. But we got pretty lucky with our family. We have an indoor arena, so we could rope pretty much whenever we wanted, I guess. And then when we started taking it, where it was like, okay, no more sports, no more anything else, we just want to rope. Then Arizona came into a factor in the winters, and it's just so much nicer. You load up, make the drive, and then, like you said, you get to rope every single day. It's beautiful. It's not freezing. You're not killing steers because it's cold outside and warm indoor. So we got pretty lucky. We kind of, I guess, cheated the system on that deal for being Canadians. But it's cool and there's getting more and more indoors up there. Like the Bonnets, they have one, and ours is old and we have one, but there's getting to be quite a few of them around now but you just gotta, I guess if you love the sport, you'll bear down through it or find a better way to do it where you just get in your truck and drive to Arizona.
It seems like you better love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It seems like if a guy's going to go through that much, you better love it. And then it seems like it's almost when you get down here, for one, you're grateful to be here. And then 2 is the fact that you know how to overcome so much adversity because of where you're from to be able to rope all year long.
Yeah. And that's part of it too. Even the spring up there and fall, it's not just sometimes beautiful weather. You kind of got to do some cold roping or whatever. You usually don't want to go inside because nobody likes going to rope inside. So you try to bear down and rope through all the cold and whatever until you have to go inside. But now we've cheated the system pretty good.
With team roping being difficult, and then also too, as much as you guys have had to overcome so many things, not only weather-wise, but also just in the culture of not kind of accepting team roping up there for the longest time. What do you think it is that's creating so many good ropers coming from Canada?
I don't. I think just the people that were ahead of of us. I mean, you see guys like Murray and Rocky win the Olympics, and then Jerry and Levi and Colton making it in whatever 15 or 16, whatever year it was, and then them guys winning the world. It's like, hey, we can do this, and I think it just sparked a whole new fire under everybody, where it's like, all right, this can be done. We can actually rope for a living. We don't have to. If you rope good enough, you can type deal.
Yeah, and explain a little bit too for a lot of the guys that don't understand, but like talk a little bit about the adversity, like how long it took for the rodeos to have team roping, how long it took for to get the Canadian finals, and then we're still, at least Calgary now finally at least has the team roping, but it's a month later, a quarter of the money added. It looks like with the PRCA and Calgary, it looks like within a year or two, it looks like it will be half the money added for the team open. So what I mean by that for a lot of the people listening is that, it adds, I think, $308,000 in all the events, the bronc ride and the breakaway, the calf rope and team rope, or the calf rope and steer wrestling, all the events. That's what it adds. Probably in the next year or two, they'll be adding 308,000 also for the team roping. But when it's two, a header and healer, so that's half the money. So like when you go to Houston, when it pays 50 grand to win it, it's equal money for header and healer. So they add, the amount of money to make it to where it pays the exact same as all the other events. So it's
Yes.
looking like maybe within a year or two, you'll be at least at half the money in the team roping, which in a way to me almost makes me wonder, is it going to get closer to
Right.
being able to get in the performance?
I think once maybe it gets the full added money, then maybe the conversation comes up to getting into performances. But I think let's just worry about the money for now. They don't really seem like they want to get it in right now. So the perfs anyhow. So let's get Roper the money and then worry about it type deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think within 5 years, I wonder, in my opinion, if they get equal money.
Right.
Like if it gets to equal money, then like we talked yesterday, I really wonder then what would be holding them back. What
Yeah.
would keep them out of the performances once it gets to that point. So I kind of think the future looks bright and I'm hopeful. I thought it was great that guy came on my podcast and talked to us.
Right.
Because I'm a Team Roper podcast, so I thought it was really cool in the fact that they don't have Team Roping in the perfs for whatever reason. At least being able to have him kind of tell his side of the story, I thought was an interesting perspective. How do you feel like that was portrayed amongst team ropers up there in Canada?
Yeah, I think it was good. I mean, it's kind of crazy because it doesn't affect just a whole lot of team ropers in Canada. I mean, rather than a handful of the guys type deal, just for the fact of it doesn't count for the Canadian finals. So that doesn't, I mean, obviously they want to see it and they'd rather see team roping it in the perfs at Calgary. But I think there was a lot of good out of the podcast that you did with them for sure. Getting to talk to them and see what their opinions were on it more than anything.
Yeah,
And then I think,
I think it's important to at least know the why.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know, I thought the reason what I read a lot of the comments when it went on social media, and I thought the why was interesting to say the
Yeah.
least. Because team roping's got to be probably one of the least detrimental animal cruelty events we have, other than
Right.
takeaway. And so that was interesting. But I really do hope that just getting the conversation started up there will be hopeful to be able to get it back in the purse. Because man, I'd love to see it up there for you guys because
Yeah.
that's a historic rodeo,
No,
and
exactly.
I know a lot of you guys have been, from Racky Dallin to Murray Linscomb has been trying their butts off, and not only that, but CVS. I
Yeah.
know so many guys have been working so hard to try to get it there, and so yeah, I'm hopeful that'd be pretty cool to see you guys in that event.
And team roping's been getting better and better in Canada. Like, I don't know the numbers. I'm not very good at all that, obviously. But like I think in like a year or two, like every rodeo in Canada has to be equal money for the team ropers and the directors and all the past directors, and they put their work in trying to get it through. And like you said, try to get it where we're not roping for double the money. We're roping for equal money type deal. And there's guys that'll call the committees type deal and tell them, like, we need to have equal money at this rodeo type deal. So it's getting good. It's going to be good up there for a while, I think.
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of get the talking points out that, we're not asking for double money, we're asking for equal. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
that was something that went on in the 90s that we had, like, your guys are probably 20 years behind where the team ropers were. I think equal money finally got passed in, I think, 99 or 2000 at the NFR.
Right.
So it's pretty recent for us as well, but it's just wild to see that you guys are still battling with it. And then you're also seeing where the breakaway ropers are having a hard time, being in an equal playground as well, especially when they're included all year long. But then when the NFR is like, no, you go over here and you guys go over here. And so as a fan, it's very hard to understand that. And then I think the talking points on their side when they're calling it double money is like, no, it's equal.
Right.
Yeah, but man, I tell you what, that's I know from just being a fan up there of you guys, because I've been up there since probably 2000. I think when I first started going up there to Canada, and man, I've just enjoyed it up there. Bulldoggers are probably my favorite group of guys in rodeo, and I've never been around a bunch of team ropers in an area that felt like it was in the bulldogging.
Right.
You guys all get along, man. Have the greatest times. You got, in my opinion, one of the best ropings up there. When you talk about a blueprint on how a roping should be produced, when you talk about Squigs roping the no bitch, talk about the no bitch, because that one makes me laugh. He was like, Chuck, I'm telling you, if they get mustard on your ketchup or mustard on your burger and you order ketchup, I don't give a shit. You bitch one time and you're gone. I loved it. Like, this needs to be the blueprint everywhere.
Yes, and then the one Ford dealership, they bring trucks full of beer, their beds of their trucks with beer in them, and that's what the saying is too. If you bitch about the beer being too cold, you're done. Yeah, it's a sweet rope, and we'll try our butts off to get there every year to make sure we try it. I mean, we'll drive all night just to go to that roping. It's quite the deal. It's one of the funnest ropings of the year, that's for sure.
I swear, X Factor or the Cowboy Channel needs to get up there. They need to get up there. That one needs to be televised, because it is that's how you run a jackpot.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot like the Bulldoggers when they talk about trades.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, we're talking about, like, all right, team ropers, all right, they bitch. So all right, let's have a roping called the no bitch, and if you bitch, you're gone. And like Bulldoggers, like, if they can't trade, they say you got two choices. You can either doctor's release or trade, because you're going to have to do one or the other when we're done. Like, I love it.
Kidding.
Like, I mean, to me, that's a group of guys that, it's just so similar.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
I still remember one of my favorite stories. I called one of the guys up there to trade one year, and I've talked about it on this podcast before, but he told me, he's like, I went to 3 rodeos. I forget which ones they were. And I was up at 2 slacks at the same time. And I was just needing to perf at one of them so I could make all 3. And he's like, oh, Chuck, man, I'd love to help you out. He said, it's been a long winter, and heck, I ain't seen my friends all winter. And it's a pretty good beer tent. So, I can't trade you. And I was like, so let me get this straight. Like, so you can't trade because of the beer garden? He goes, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, that was the most honest answer I'd ever heard. And I'm like, honest,
Right.
like, I can't argue with that. I would never ask that of you. So I apologize for calling and asking.
Yeah, it's a good group of guys. That's for sure. Squig, Travis Gallet, all the old guys. Like, when we first started going, they were still going. It was awesome.
Talk about some of the guys that when you grew up with up there was the guys. Who were the guys you guys looked up to up there when you were growing up?
Yeah, it was the Travis Gallet, Squiggy, Rocky Dallin, Murray, Dwight, Wigmeyer. I mean, there's a lot of guys that rope really good. And I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of them, and then seemed like when we got old enough to kind of know too, then Levi and Jerry, they hit the scene. And Levi, he was as cool as anybody can be and would give a kid the time of the day. He was young and making it, obviously, and doing good, but he was just one of the guys that you're like, I could hang out with that guy. And then, of course, we did get to him. We buddied with him one year, and it was the best. But It was, yeah, there's so many people like that. And when we were young up there that they wanted to see us do good too.
That
We were
is
pretty
so cool.
lucky.
That is so cool because that is rare, especially in team roping.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it. So when someone does good, it's hard for a lot of people to root for each other. And that's what I noticed up there was it was so much fun. And I noticed how much better I roped up there because everyone was rooting for you. Like,
Right.
oh man, when you'd leave and head back down south, man, guys just would always be hollering to go get him, Chuck, man. You got him, man. Freaking
Yeah.
stick it on. And we'll see you at the NFR, and you just left there like kind of had a group of guys rooting for you, but they were
Yeah,
like
you
that.
kind of got a posse.
everywhere I went.
And that's like Roland McFadden and Tyrell Fowling. They're still going to a handful. They're the funnest guys on the whole rodeo trail.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. They're the funnest people in the whole world to be up at the same perf or slack with. They have so much fun.
Yeah, that needs to be passed down here. I think that's such a great attribute, and how you guys just have that perspective when you're out here rodeoing. I love it. That stuff makes it, like I said, I loved it up there. But talk about a little bit now when we're talking about the last 2 years where you were close, then last year you're real close, and then this year we'll talk about a little bit of that, as we go into the fourth quarter. But what do you feel like those first 2 years when you guys were close? What a little adjustments do you feel like maybe you made that you learned from where it was able to, you could see where that applied this year?
Yeah, and that was lots of it was to do with the tour points. It seemed like we'd never made Puyallup, never even came close to Sioux Falls, obviously, but we never even got to be in Puyallup till this year. So just catching the cow and learning the ropes a little bit better, I think too, like where you can just go get your handful of points at just by screwing up the first one and just catching the second one type deal instead of taking yourself completely out of the conversation. But that came from learning from people too. I mean, we traveled with some of the best guys to learn from and with your phone, you got access to about anybody. But we traveled to Renan Bueller the year, I think that was maybe the year we were 16th. They might have won Houston that year. So we got to go with them guys and just help us out down the road and learn little things from each person, whether you take some from Ren or some from Levi. And then JD Yates is the first person that you can call and he'll tell you the most black and white way that you did it. So that's good for me. I don't like to complicate it. I like it simple, kind of one word fix type deal. But I think just learning to win, I guess, at the right times and right places. And I think it probably did help a little bit missing it that year for like this year when it was the fourth quarter type of time. We're like, well, we've been here already. We haven't made it before. It sure would be nice to, but I mean, it ain't going to be the end of the world if we do miss the finals again type thing. So the pressure wasn't really on type deal. We were going to still get to do what we liked on whatever, October 1st type deal. We could just hang out. It's not going to change anything. Obviously, it's cool to do it. We're super happy we made it that's for sure.
That's such a good perspective. When a guy's talking about learning to win, 2 years ago, one of the things I always noticed was, the last 2 years, you guys are always like, you guys kept swinging all the way till the end. Like I didn't see where pressure got you. You might miss one, but then you come right back strong. Like in those 2 years, I noticed, I was like, man, these guys, man, they're close, but that doesn't look like they're panicking. It looks like, they might throw an interception, but they come right back with a touchdown. Like,
right.
Those are things you see in a lot of young quarterbacks that like, there's some dog right there, and you can see that when guys, I really feel like you can see a lot of that at the end of the year where that pops out in a lot of guys. Because I think also too is what's so hard with the tour points, like you're talking about, they've changed so much. And it seems like they're always changing. And so like when you're talking about when you miss or break out or rope a leg on the first one, if you come back with the doozy or what do you guys call them up there in Canada, the retard?
Retard.
When you come back with them, like, all right, game on. Let's use this sucker and let's win some money. But when you come back with one that just sucks and there's no chance at money, you're saying is now that there's so many points that they drop down to where if you don't have a chance or if you missed a barrier and you're not going to win any money on that steer, if you go and catch them, at least just surviving there that will get you enough points where you're still stacking them up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
And it's kind of hard to convince yourself to do that because even if you have the one that does completely outrun you type deal or wants to. Sometimes you're like, well, it does work. We're going to be really fast, but you just take yourself out of it and you basically forfeit the money technically for that rodeo, I guess you could say, and just get some tour points, hopefully get paid come Puyallup time type deal. Like it's kind of how I looked at it some. I'm not saying we did it perfect by no means all year, but there's a lot of scenarios where we should have just caught the cow and won more tour points, but there's some hiccups through the year. But I think that was our biggest deal is not just stressing over. We more looked at trying to make it into Puyallup off of doing things like that than the absolute, because I mean, you know how it is. It's a long year. You ain't gonna have 3 perfect runs at a tour rodeo every time. There's gonna be hiccups in there.
And you said it best. That's what so many people need to understand when they're watching a team roping. And, there might be 10 guys up that night and there was only one 4-second run. Well, that one run is probably the only one that's going to place because the guys took shots to be 4. And if
Oh,
you take
yeah.
an extra swing and if you take this and that, you're basically, it's almost like a leg. You're not going to win nothing at a 5-5.
No.
So, but also too is how hard that is to where when you try to win something on a steer and you have a split second where you've got to throw because there's off timing, you can't think in the back of your mind, okay, if it's not there, take an extra one. Because then
Right.
you're not offensive enough. Then I think a guy can get too caught up, I think, like you say, on defense, where you're just
Yeah.
trying to get points and then you don't have enough offense. Because sometimes a good offense is a great defense.
No,
You
exactly.
keep winning money and plucking at them. To me, that takes care of a bad defense. And I
Yeah.
like offense. But to think defensively, man, it's pretty hard to win all year long thinking that way for sure too.
Well, and it's hard to keep money in your bank account thinking that way too.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
so
for
many of these
sure.
guys that do, which I like to think that's how we do it. Lots of offensive deal to, but there's a lot. If there's 80 teams, there's 50 of them thinking that, or 60 of them like that. So you can't.
Mhm.
There ain't no way you're gonna beat them type of guys roping defensive either.
Yeah, I agree. So when I started watching you guys this year, I guess I like to call, or I don't know if it's still the same, like when I was rodeoing, I always thought the fourth quarter was about Caldwell. Seemed
Yeah.
like once you make the move to the Northwest, once you're in Caldwell, Canby, all the Montana, Idaho rodeos, then Kennewick, then, on to Puyallup shortly after Ellensburg, and then Pendleton, and then that's kind of the 2-minute warning. But when you guys started the fourth quarter, man, you guys come out with a banger. I thought you guys, that little old spike torn steer in the short round up there at Caldwell, like you guys I was like, man, fourth quarter, you guys started off hot. Like
Yeah.
how important do you think that was to get that momentum going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, that was big. We had a really good one on our first one and just caught them. And we just drew good over there, especially being a 1 and a short this year. It was drawing them was the biggest thing. So we drew a good one on the first one, caught them. We were whatever, third eye call maybe or second eye call. Then we had a good one and I was going for a neck and missed. It got horns. And it just worked out that we were fast enough that it was good. But, and then, yeah, we kind of bounced around and then I think we went to one in Canada maybe the day after and then went to Kennewick. And we were good at Kennewick, and I missed one at Kennewick in the short round. Same thing. Should have up the neck, went for horns, and
And
popped
you
it
were
off.
high team back there, correct?
Yeah, I think we were first and second. I think we were split.
And that's
And
a
that
tough
one hurt.
short. Them steers it looked like they were pulling knives out in that short round.
Yeah, and
It
I
did.
should have
Like, I was
I had
watching it
time.
going,
And I mean, a guy knows that if you just catch the cow, you're going to win in that scenario. Why a guy doesn't just pull the neck loop out and rope him around the neck. But like I said, them ones hurt a little more than some, but you can live with it. I mean, it's part of it. If it would have went around the horns, we would have won the rodeo by second and a half type deal, possibly.
it is funny because you're saying that too, is like, if it would have run out of the horns, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know
but
what I
I'd be
mean? So
super happy.
it's hard because it's so hard to second guess is like, well, it worked the week before and not even thinking
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, you're talking like them steers been roped since probably, most of those steers were breakaway calves and calf roping calves last year.
Right.
This year they start out about sisters up there in about June. So it seems like right about that Kennewick,
Yeah.
Pendleton, Lewiston, man, they start getting tricky.
Yeah,
And
they do.
it's hard to win when they're moving around, dropping their head, especially when some of them run so hard and can still do it.
Right.
And That's where sometimes winning gets even harder. Is now the elements are getting harder too because the steers are
Yeah.
getting trickier.
Well, and then I think then it's like Walla Walla maybe after that, and I got to have my 30-minute little pouch sesh after Kennewick, and then yeah, we came bounced back at Walla Walla and did good there, and then I think I screwed the first one up at Ellensburg, and we placed in the second round. It was a good fourth quarter. Seemed like
Well, that's
if
what.
we didn't do good at every rodeo, it was the next one type deal we would do good
Yeah.
at.
And that's what I noticed about the 2 years before you guys. Like I was watching, like where I made a mistake, bounce right back. Same
Yeah.
thing. High team back at Kennewick, miss. I'm like, oh, that's a momentum killer right there. That can be tough. Bounce right back, place in the round, win Walla Walla. Those are bounce backs. What was
Yeah.
wild though, that's a great bounce back. But you're thinking like for me, I was thinking like, all right, Walla Walla win, I get a dub there, gonna shoot you up. Shoot, I think you guys lost a spot.
I know.
And I'm like, wow, like this is so tough at the bottom right now. It's wild.
Yeah, that's kind of given. It don't matter if you're in Canada or down here. When it gets to the end of the year, nobody at the top seems like they're winning. Especially if you're the guy at the bottom crawling your way in. It seems like only the bottom 10 guys are winning type deal. It makes it hard, but it's good. It's part of the game.
Well, and that's what it looked like change from the 2 years before that too, is then you guys had the points that you needed. You got into Puyallup.
Yeah.
And then you started seeing momentum and things like that and breaks that a guy has to have. Because
Yeah.
I've been there before when a guy blasts one and you don't win no money, and then you make just an okay run and you think you don't win nothing, and all of a sudden it wins good money. You go
Right.
through those breaks throughout the year. Well, it looked like that momentum and the breaks went your way come Puyallup. You finally made it. Like I say, you got the points that you needed now, because those are huge. If you're on the bubble, man, it's crucial to have those points right there for Puyallup to make sure you get into Mandan, which will get you into, the Governor's Cup. That
Yeah.
puts you in a good spot because, man, if you're on the outside from there, it is really tough, huh?
Oh yeah. And Puyallup, it didn't go as planned, but it went perfect actually. I mean, yeah, I
Talk
think we
about the
did.
first few rounds in the 8-man and the emotion roller coaster of the 8-man.
Yeah, I think we might have placed maybe in the first round, maybe in Puyallup, and then the second round we made a way better run. Didn't win nothing. Got rocks thrown at us, and then we show up to the round,
Talk about how
and
tough that second round was, though. Like, it was, like, dirty, wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was like I don't know. I think we were 4-5 maybe, and didn't even come close to placing or 4-6. We might have been a little longer. I don't even know what we were, but it was
That's
tough.
hard when you think about that going into the 8-man of, like, man, this thing, especially you guys were first out, correct?
Yeah, first out of
Well,
the
the
8-man.
8-man is like, man, if 4 or 5 didn't place in the last run, like, it's hard not to think, like, we're gonna have to press on this one, huh?
Yeah, so that's kind of what we did. Well, then I break the barrier, and we're whatever 14 something. And I'm like, oh, we're done. Coil my rope up, kind of go sit in the back. Same deal. Half listening to it, but half pouting. And everybody kept missing. And it was the weirdest 8 round, which sometimes they can. They can get weird, them 8 rounds, and they can be super silly fast. And so I'm over there listening to it, and I'm kind of look up and counting the teams left, and I'm like, shoot, I think we made it back. And then I really didn't. Then I think Dustin was maybe last out, and I think he had a strong one, and he's like, I tried to break the barrier. He breaks the barrier, boat loses rope. I'm like, there is some wild stuff going on right now. It was just
It's
kind of a
wild
whole
when it
deal.
happens, huh?
Yeah,
It is
just
so wild.
team roping. It can be a weird sport some days like that.
Well, like you said, it's feast or famine. You talk about the 4 or 5 that didn't even come close in the round, and then all of a sudden the 8-man, which all those guys that were on a hot
Right.
streak going in from there, now they're in the top 8, so everyone's confident, feeling good, and
Yeah.
then it just bam, bam. I hadn't seen Summers miss a steer all year long. Of course, I'm
No.
watching the highlight reels on social media, and he misses, and I'm like, what? Like, wait, what?
I know. I think
It
Andy
was just
missed
wild.
too.
Yeah.
Andrew Ward, that guy never misses.
I
Think he
know.
missed
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And they were rolling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a shocking 8 round. Which then once we snuck our way into that 4 round, then it's like, okay, well, we got Sioux Falls made.
Yeah. Huge.
Now now it was like, I don't really care. I guess, like, I mean, I do care because we're still repping for money, but it's like, that's a huge deal getting into Sioux Falls.
So then talk about now you're in the 4-man, you come back first out in the 4-man. Talk a little bit too about the fact that like when you're researching your steer, you're probably going back to probably Walla Walla, because those steers usually go
Yep.
Walla Walla, Canby, things like that. And then, researching your steer, talk about what those steers a lot of times are like when it's big, wide open areas. But then also like now when you're talking about Puyallup, real tight, small arena, how much of those steers have a tendency to change?
Yeah, and that one, he was amazing. I think Driggers won second at Walla Walla on him. And then he went to Puyallup, and Begay, I believe, won a round on him there. He was amazing. He almost stepped right, just good speed. He was because I think we were second out because I think Dustin was first in the 4 round. But I'm like, I told Dylan, I said, we got the best one on him. Because especially there, it has that weird left wall. You don't really want any left, but it seems like they all go left. I'm like, we got one that almost wants right. We're styling type deal. And then as I was kind of throwing, maybe it was a little out of whack, and he stepped left and checked off to me. I threw it over his head. But that's part of it too. I mean, you can have a game plan sometimes, and you still just got to head the cow.
In that arena, it feels exactly like what you just said. It feels like almost like what Mike Tyson talked about when he's fighting. Everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the face. That
Yes.
little arena, how fast those steers can change, because it's almost like they're trapped. So
Yeah.
once they're trapped, they're almost trying to get away. Like when it's wide open, it seems like they're trying to go away that way. But
Right.
when you're so confined, they're moving this direction, and it almost seems like bam, you can get punched in the face so easy there. To where
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one of the hardest little places to win that I've been. And then also too, one of the most impactful, because like you're talking about, you guys had the breaks go your way. Now you got the Governor's Cup.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they can change. That's the funny thing about steers. They'll change pretty dang quick. They might be the best one, turn into the worst one the next day type deal, but that's part of it.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about how you guys finished. You guys, Pendleton, did it go good? Where all did you go after Pendleton? Then up there to Dakotas. Talk a little bit about how you guys finished them off, and when did you kind of was able to get sleep knowing that, okay, now we're in.
Yeah, no good at Pendleton. We drew a runner on the first one, and I jerked him down. And then I missed the loper on the second one. I wadded it right in the back of his head. And I think we flew to Salt Lake, maybe just the little rodeo in Salt Lake there, and we caught that one. We just kind of kept picking away. And then maybe after Pendleton, went to Albuquerque, won a little at Albuquerque. And then probably was Mandan after that, I think. Did get a Mandan in the mud.
That was a good hit in the mud, correct?
Yeah, which, I don't know, it was deep and boggy, but I think we probably had the better run than everybody. We were the last perf. Kind of knew how fast to be. And it looked like on TV, everybody had hit the mud and then almost get bogged down and the steers get away from them. So I just told myself, I'm going to hit the barrier, try to hit the barrier, and he should be somewhere close. And that was actually just an easy go catch run, win good money, especially there. I mean, it paid great, and team repping wasn't just ridiculous tough like it can be. So we did good there. And then that's kind of when everybody started calling, telling us that we made it, or everybody figuring that we did. And we were probably the team maybe at the time that everybody said was in, but we were the team that didn't feel like we were maybe totally in. So then I think we were entered in Mona or something like that, maybe. And Dylan's like, no, I don't think we need to go. And like we said earlier in the podcast, he does all the entering, does all the telling me where to go, the whole deal. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if we're safe or not. Like, I'd feel a lot more comfortable being another spot higher type deal. And he's like, no, I think we're decent. He said, we don't need to go. It's going to pay just okay. Let's go to the Wrangler finals instead. So I'm like, all right, well, you're the boss, so we'll go to the Wrangler finals. Which it worked out good. We win the Wrangler finals and skip Mona, and then we had 2 days off, or 3 days, 2 days maybe, till Sioux Falls. And then went to Sioux Falls, and once we caught at Sioux Falls, our first one, then it was like, okay, I think we're safe now.
What were you guys? Where were you guys at in the world standings on your way to Sioux Falls?
I don't know, probably 12th, maybe something like that. 11th.
I couldn't remember if it was around 10 or 12
Yeah, and maybe
because
it
I
was
think
10.
one so because that one, you think about it, even if you're 10th, it's still hard not to notice that there's enough guys under you that are probably there that if everything hit just right, if they won and you didn't, because it's not like Sioux Falls, you're
Right.
guaranteed money.
No.
I think that's what everyone understands. Like usually when you're in the last week and you're 10th, you're probably good. Because the
Right.
old days, it was, Stephenville or San Bernardino. There's only one or two teams probably in those last days that they could probably get anything done. So if you're 10th by then, you're in the clear. Well,
Right.
Sioux Falls pays so dang good, and there's off points. So there might be a guy 30th that if he comes in and just rolls and grabs as much money as he can, there's enough guys under you that can put you there. But
Oh,
you talk
yeah.
about that getting that check in that first round and then being in, like, that had to be like, "Oh, monkeys off the back."
Yeah, and I think that's when it really sank in more than anything, that it was like, "Alright, this with it's I think for sure," which it was how it fell apart or how the perf went too, that it was like, "Okay, that guy didn't do good, but that guy did," and there were still a couple guys in the hunt. And then you get looking though at, like you said, the San Bernardinos, the wherever the heck Colton was all at. Colton kept catching, kept catching, kept catching. I'm like, there is a lot of catching going on from everybody in the bottom, really the bottom 7 spots type deal. But so, and you kind of get caught up in some of that maybe sometimes because you can't not do it with social media and just curiosity too. That gets a guy.
Yeah, well, I think a guy can't put his head in the sand, and the fact of, like, you gotta still pay attention what the other team's doing,
Oh yeah,
because that's strategy, because, like, if you go in there and you just go make some smart runs and that's gonna be enough, or if, like, hey, some guys are coming and they are steamrolling,
right.
and you're like, "Okay, I need to press," because if I
Yeah,
don't, I don't wanna be hung just I think there is a lot to it. It's still the same game plan, guy gotta win money, but
yeah. That's
there is certain things where there's a calculator out to where at the end, if a guy knows when he's at San Bernardino, like I've been there one time where me and Matt Funk were just battling that whole week. He came out of nowhere and just started just steamrolling everyone. And he was winning San Bernardino. And when I got to San Bernardino, we came from Poway and we get there during the clown act before the team roping.
right.
And I mean, stressful. Like you're trying to find your steer, you're trying to do the math in your head, and basically, like I think I was 8th out, and there was 10 teams. So like I think I had to win 5th to be able to get enough money over what he was going to win if he wins it to make it. And I think I had to be under 6'7". I think I was 6'5", win 5th, did it. And so like
Yeah,
if I'd have went there trying to be 4 and missed and then like,
right.
gosh, I only had to be 6, then I
Yes.
think that's your strategy, but then also too is like, then it's the other way. You're not paying enough attention and you go be 6'5", thinking that,
You gotta be
all they had to do
yeah,
is win. When no, you needed to win 3rd. You needed to be 5'8". Like then that's where I think a guy's not paying attention.
yeah. No, and I think you can get tied up in it and you can not care enough too. I mean, there's a happy medium there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, now you got your first NFR. So now that you got your first NFR, the question is are you going to wear the green pants?
Oh, that's quite the deal. That was a bad night at the Canadian finals. I should call Cinch and see if they got a pair. If I don't, I'm gonna get some serious hassling out of that deal.
So talk about the green pants. Was there a wager?
Yeah, so I don't even know exactly how. Pretty foggy night if I remember. But I forgot all about it. And they posted it kind of after Sioux Falls on Facebook. And it was a bet with Keely Bonnet, his wife, and I don't know how it even that would have been the year probably we were 19th or we just missed it type deal. And they said something about the green pants at the first round of the NFR. And I don't know, we probably had one too many at the Canadian finals that night. So I made a bet. I told her I'd bet on it, and I don't even think that I had anything to go against. I think I just made a stupid bet, honestly. Oh, yeah, I'm such an idiot.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's and if you go with the green pants and you win the first day money, that
You
could be a
better
new trend.
believe. You better believe them green pants will be out the second night.
Like a leprechaun, man. These things
Yeah,
are like a rainbow.
exactly. I'll wear them all 10 if that makes me win it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and that would definitely start a trend. You would see
Ain't that
green
no
pants
kidding.
everywhere at the area World Series finale.
Oh, man, that'd be something.
We'll talk about what it's like now making it with your brother, because that has got to be pretty special. You know, how's the how's mom and dad? You know, I mean, that's got to be a pretty big deal when mom and dad that you said ropes along the way, and then now seeing both their kids make the NFR roping together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's probably honestly cooler for them, mom and dad, than us as of right now. I mean, they're gonna have a blast out there. They're gonna come all 10 nights, and grandma and grandpas and the whole. They put a lot of effort into us. I'll give them. They gave us every opportunity. The whole meal deal. I mean, literally buying a place in Arizona just for us to rope. And I mean, dad, he still works in the oil field, so he don't even spend all winter. My mom does. She comes down and she's the head babysitter around here. But dad, he'll fly in and out, and he'll have 4 days off, and he'll fly in, and so it's pretty cool what they've done for us for that side of things. And then just I guess for us to finally make it worth everything they've done. I mean, there's so many times that I don't know how far our moms drove or done for us that, or we break down still to this day. If we break down and call, they'll be the first people that'll get in the truck at midnight and drive all night and make it there in time for us to be at the next rodeo type deal. Like they're the first call for everything. And I don't know. I don't know how a guy that wouldn't do it with a family like this.
That's awesome, man. That's what I was talking to Bueller too, man. He talked about just, you know, you guys were the blueprint, honestly, of a brothership, that there was no crap talking amongst one another. You won't hear them talk. You know, and a guy thinks about that too. Like when I would look at partnership, when I was going back, you know, and moving on from one partner to the next, like that was one of the things I always looked at was, man, how much did that guy complain to me about his partner when we were just buds?
Right.
You know, because to me, like that, I know that then that's going to be in my head a little bit of when I miss or when things happen, that this guy's going to be going running noise behind my back, and it's hard not for that to get into your head. But when
For
you're
sure.
talking about like when you guys, he said, man, there is none. You won't get him to say a peep, and like to me that's so much easier to rope with the guys that are both know that each other's trying as hard as they can. That just takes that element of pressure away from the team.
Yeah. I think it's something about the brother deal too. And like, I'm not going to talk ever bad about my brother, and he's probably not going to ever talk bad about me. But we also won't let anybody, like, you know what I mean? Nobody else is going to talk bad about him. It's like a brother bond kind of thing. Like, I got his back, he's got mine kind of deal.
Love it. Love it. You know, especially when a guy goes out there and ropes and doesn't make it, but then stays hooked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a lot to that. You guys were growing together, and then now you're looking up and it's here we go to the yellow arena.
Yeah. And I mean, we've made, I don't know how many runs before we even thought about rodeoing in our little indoor arena, not getting ready for the NFR just because we watched it on TV that night and thought we better go to the indoor, and hopefully the parents don't see us just cranking our horses back every single time. Or the fast lane or the little dummy in the I mean, anything.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that we actually get to do it now. For real.
When you're talking about you guys growing up playing hockey together and being brothers, has there been times in your guys' relationship where it's like throw the gloves off and square off?
Yeah, there's been a few occasions, but it's over usually the dumbest things ever. I think, like, the dumbest things. It could be losing on the PlayStation or Xbox, a hockey game, losing it 3 times in a row and just getting mad, or I mean, the dumbest things ever. We both did school online for a couple years, so we were locked in this little office together. That caused a few, I know. And it was just the dumbest things you could ever imagine. Nothing ever important or nothing. It just, I don't know. I know, don't mess with Dylan though. He's younger, but there's something about him that, yeah, he's too tough. I
I've
quit.
heard that the hat and the glasses come off, and then it's like, oh boy, that's pretty much the
Yeah.
gloves. And
Yeah, you better get backing away fast if his glasses
Love it.
come off.
Love it. I thought that was cool yesterday when we talked. Was like he's always said it was over stupid stuff, which I think is great, but none
Yeah.
of it was team roping. I thought that
No.
was pretty dang cool. Like we're when it come to roping, it wasn't going to be about that. I love that.
Yeah, no, and it was never team roping, never team roping, hockey, baseball. I mean, we did it all the bunch of sports together. It was never anything about sports because I think we both knew that we were trying our hardest every time. We're never giving it 80%. We've always been kind of wired like that if we're going to do something, we're going to be the best at it type deal, or try to be. Even if we're not the best at it, we'll be and that doesn't matter with
I love that.
pickleball, anything, any stupid sport. We'll try to be the best at it. It seems like competitive.
Yeah.
We might totally suck, but
I do
we'll
love
have
that
blisters
the
on our feet.
partnership team roping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So my favorite part is that I want to talk about your yellow horse. Because when we talked about that, man, I was just rolling yesterday because I've been through this before where, you might have an outlaw. I've had them bought. I've had to get by them. I laughed at some of the stories we talked about with Buck Campbell, BJ Campbell. Like we kind of grew up with outlaw horses because for one, that was all we could kind of afford.
Yes.
But talk a little bit about your yellow horse. And first of all, how important it is and the role that he played, but also what are some of the things you have to kind of like be aware of?
Yeah, there's a lot of be aware of things, but we might as well just start at the beginning. When I first came, one of my best friends had him, and I honestly didn't even hardly see the horse. I think he was 4 or 5 maybe. And he's like, I was kind of looking for a head horse. He's like, come ride this one. See what you think. Come tomorrow. So I show up there, and he's got him pretty sweated up in Arizona. And it looks like he's run 20 on him already. He's like, all right, get on, go ahead. So I just get on, and I probably roped 20 on him. I don't know how many that horse run that day. I said, okay, what's his deal? Like, is he a bronc and he goes, I'll just show up tomorrow. I show up the next day, and he's saddled, but he ain't bridled. So I got to try and bridle him. He pulls back and breaks the lead rope and does the whole deal at this buddy of mine's house. So I'm like, this horse sucks, but I can't miss on him. I've practiced on him, and I've run he's 4 or 5 years old. I've probably run 20, 25 a day on him. So the third day I got to do all of it, and it's a train wreck. Can't get the breast collar on. He pulls back. He lays down, basically. It's a total train wreck. So I finally get him. I don't know how long it takes me. It probably takes me, I don't know, a couple hours, it seemed like, to get on him. And same deal. Probably run 20, 25. Hardly scored any. And I can't miss on him. I mean, I'm not really just going at him, but I'm just jackpot runs type deal. And my grandpa came with me the last time. And I said, you got to watch this horse. I can't miss on him, but he sucks. He's terrible to be around. I'm telling him about him. And I think my dad maybe flew to Arizona that night that I buy him. So I buy him the third time for some stupid reason. I think I'm going to take a chance on him because there's no exit plan to this horse. Like, if he doesn't work out, I'm out all my money. I showed up, and of course the horse came from Canada. He's got long whiskers. He's rough looking, hasn't had a blanket on, the whole meal deal. So my grandpa and my dad are on me about take the clippers and clipper his whiskers off. And I'm telling these guys, I don't know the horse very good, but it doesn't seem like this is a good option. So they talked me into backing him in a corner and turned the clippers on. Well, I turned them on. Didn't really do nothing. He was pretty good about it.
My new online course, The Basics of Horsemanship for Roping, is now available. This course takes everything we've covered from the basics of roping and puts it into action. You'll learn how to properly use your left hand and feet to create clear cues for your horse and making sure your tack fits your horse correctly. There will be detailed live run breakdowns and real jackpot scenarios. Head over to charlycrawford.training, click under the course tab, and sign up today. If you haven't picked up the basics of roping yet, check out the Basics Bundle. You'll save 20% and get both courses to help take your roping and your horsemanship to the next level.
So yeah, I make the first clipper move, and he takes the first one good, and I don't know if obviously one of them hairs got crossed and it pulled a little. And I'm talking, he reached up and pawed me right in the side. And I looked over at my dad and my grandpa. They were standing there just laughing, both of them. Which, what a stupid decision. Now that I know the horse, don't ever back him in a corner. Like, that is the dumbest move you could ever do, because that's his first instinct, is to paw you. So
Have you seen that kangaroo that squares up with that guy and starts just punching the heck out of him?
yes.
Like, that was the
Yeah.
first thing I was thinking of when you had the clippers in your hand and had him in the corner.
Yeah. So, like, what a dumb thing to think you're going to try and do. So we've never done that again. Learned that the first day. And there's been so many things this horse has wrecked. Tie hooks on trailers and lead ropes. And, like, when you put his breast collar on, you got to, like, put your arm over his neck and, like, fish it around and sneak around and grab it with your left hand. Like, there is just so many things that he's such a pain about. Like, that's actually, good thing I got a stock here for this temperature check, because there ain't I'd die. I'd have to take a life insurance. My wife would take a life insurance policy out for me, and I wouldn't be around. There's no way I'd make it. Which the stocks isn't really an ideal thing either, but because he still tries to kick you. But, like, I ain't trimmed. Yeah, it's going to be a whole deal. The worst part of this whole virus deal is I'm going to have to catch him twice a day.
Yeah, how are you going to get the thermometer in him?
Yeah, and the stocks are going to come into effect on that one. I already did it this morning. Set the stocks up, set 2 bales behind it. So if he does kick, he kicks the bales and not me. Yeah, I'm honestly scared for the people in Vegas if they're going to want to check him when he shows up there, because I really don't know how we're going to do it. I mean,
I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean,
we didn't take your horse and you do it. I'm not doing it.
yeah, like, you can't hardly stick them with a needle. I don't ever have to worry about anybody drugging my horse when I'm somewhere or stuff like that, because they'll get out of the stall immediately.
It would have to be with a dart gun.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to invest in one, I think.
Those would be fun. Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's something else.
weird.
He's amazing. Like I said, I bought him when he was 4. I think he was maybe turned 5 or something when I bought him. And
Now you said you said that was your best friend. Now that was still best friend, or that was your best friend?
Yeah, we're acquaintances. I keep telling him they screwed me. I'm stuck with them forever. But no, he's a pretty special horse, which I wish all of them would just take the training like he did. That was a pretty easy deal. I just literally went to jackpot and roping on him.
Yeah.
That was last high call in the jackpot. I'd throw at the top of the box and try and make him U-turn. Then if I was high call, I'd just crank a little whip off and run all the way to him. I don't know how many times.
I was talking with Bueller this morning, and we was talking about Mike Macy back in the day. They would always give him crap because they call him hip and split. He'd run at the hip and split the horns. And I said, this is so funny, because he's like, yeah, you could bomb on that horse the whole time and come short round. He said, you just get a whip, and he'd run right up on there. I'm like, so that you got a whip and hip.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you just got to be 18 back in the last one. Just get your whip off, and you'll run right to the hip, and you're good to go.
Every time he will.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but he's pretty staying special around here. I mean, I talk a lot of smack, and I hate him a lot of days. But
I can see that.
as soon as you get on him, you quit hating him.
Yeah,
Dealing
that's
with
probably
them?
the safest place to be.
Yeah, it is. Dealing with him and that kind of stuff, he sucks about. But you back in and just go to rope. It don't matter if you're practicing for the NFR there. I mean, he's only ever, I mean, there's probably only a handful of runs that he's actually screwed me on, like, ever. And there's one this summer that he got me pretty good at a little rodeo in Canada, but that was all my fault, because I ain't been riding him, and he kind of outsmarted me finally. But he's been riding the 8 rope instead of the open. I mean, still, like, actually last winter, I think I sucked at San Antone, maybe. We won like $1,000 out of our bracket there. got in the truck, drove to Arizona, drove all night, and my wife was going to the World Series rope. She didn't really know what she was going to ride. And I'm like, well, I'll be there 30 minutes before you got to leave to go to the jackpot. So why don't you just take yellow? And she's like, I don't want to do that to him. He just had to drive all night. I'm like, screw him. He didn't have to work that hard. I missed basically three in a row at San Antonio. Like, he could go run 4 at the World Series. And yeah, she takes him, and she won 80-something thousand on him a couple years ago in Vegas. Like, anybody can ride him, but nobody can put up with him, it seems like.
Yeah. It is funny too about how some of those, like, I remember like back in the day, some of those bronky horses, how long they lasted. They
Yeah,
almost
I
had
hope
that
so.
warrior mentality where they could take the travel, they could take the hauling, they could take all the adversity, muddy arenas, things like that. They had that grit to them, and they kind of had your back. It seemed like a lot of those times, but it seemed like they weren't great with adversity, like the time off and things like that.
Right. Yeah. He don't usually get a whole lot of time off, but I'm pretty bad about exercising. I'd just rather rope to exercise him than anything. So now he's being getting roped on every day. He
Yeah.
had a little time off there, couldn't catch him forever. People were waiting on me to rope, and he's running around the pasture. I can't catch him. Yeah, no, he's hopefully lasts forever. I'd sure like that, but
My first rodeo horse, his name was Skeeter, and man, he bucked me off. I don't know how many different times, and would kick, and oh, he was horrible. I remember, and terrible to bridle. I remember my rookie year at 18, I was in Denver, and I went to bridle him, runs off, gets out, and he's running with all those. I forget what those Ghost Rider with the flags and
right.
those that drill team they have at Denver, and he's running amongst there, and almost gets in the arena during the pyro, and the ticket man roped him around the neck and led him back to me. And then of course I'm walking through everyone with my head down, going, "Gosh dang it, 18, just embarrassed as hell that I can't bridle my horse." And then he gets an abscess at Houston on his back foot. The vet's like, "Man, I think you ought to soak him in this Epsom salts in this bucket." I'm like, "I don't think that's a good idea." And he's like, "Well, you're going to have to if you want to ride him." So I try to get him in there, kicks the bucket, hits my head, almost freaking knocks me out. And he's like, "Or you could just spin some penicillin, some bute, and probably just keep on going." So I like that idea better. And so how is that horse? What's he like is he good to shoe, or is he
No,
is he good all the way around?
no, he's not good to shoe at all. I shoe him myself, so it's pretty hillbilly. I know how to shoe and doing a bunch of them, but you don't want to put his leg in between your leg when you're nailing his fronts. So I just hold it with my left hand, kind of get the shoe mashed on there with my thumb and nail it. I put 2 nails on each side because I feel that's safer than putting 3 on each side. Just that's less time I got to spend. And then I can't pull it forward to rasp the toe off, so I do it everything from underneath them, technically.
Yeah.
So I clinch and I just take my nippers and make sure the toe's nipped off, dub it off at the end. And then his back feet, I think I got shoes on him one time when he was young. And I used to be able to somewhat get his backs trimmed, but now I gave up all around on that. I used to get his back left trimmed, and then I couldn't get the back right, so then it looked dumb with one foot trimmed. So I finally quit.
Buck Campbell, when we were kids, he had a horse called Zucchini, and we were at an amateur rodeo in Monroe one time, and it was all asphalt around the indoor arena. It was kind of a little bit like Puyallup, but not quite. It's you had to kind of go through a little bit of a carnival, but not bad. But anyway, I look up there, and he's just trotting those Zucchini up and down the asphalt and stopping her. I'm like, "Buck, what are you doing?" He's like, "Trimming her." Like, she'll kick your head off. Like, literally trimming her, just moving around, going left to right, knocking high edges off, stopping her, looking back, like, "All right, she's good." Like, just using the asphalt as an easier, safer way to get her trimmed down.
Yes, and he's just easier to not mess with.
Love it. I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of us had those, and those were a lot of our starter up horses, and
Yeah.
it's funny to see that still alive today.
The best thing is he's the best practice horse you've ever had. I know that for sure because you can practice as many as you want on him. And if you get to roping bad, it might kind of suck to run a bunch on him, but you kind of get feeling bad a little bit for him. But you could run 20 on them if you wanted to today. It's pretty
That's awesome.
special.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's probably a huge part in being able to get in sync is having something that can take it.
I
And
think
then
so, and just how many
doesn't.
runs I've made
Yeah,
on them.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, man, I'm excited for you guys, the NFR, man. I think coming from, Canada, being so comfortable in tight setups, roping from hockey rinks up there to when you're talking about your indoor arena at home, Bueller said, man, he said, watch out for these guys. He said, I guarantee you around round 10, there's going to be a chance at the end with these guys because that yellow arena is going to feel like a wide open space compared to what you guys are used to from coming from Canada.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's that way. And
Oh, you guys will. I
I
think it's going to be awesome.
should be
What
good.
for what you feel like coming from Canada and the way and the route you guys went, what do you think the blueprint is? There's going to be so many guys now from Canada watching you guys. You guys as brothers. You talked about Rocky and them guys winning the gold in the Olympics to watching Jerry and Bueller. Um, you know, win the world title to where you guys are at now, all the young kids that are coming up from Canada. What do you think the blueprint is for them to be able to get in contention with making the NFR and rodeoing for a living?
I don't know. I don't think it's changed a whole lot. I think a bunch of it has to do with like just the want and the will, and just to prove that yeah, we can do this type of thing. Like it ain't just a dream. It can be done, but it just takes a little bit of try and effort and just stay out there and keep going even when you don't make it the first time type deal. Which is still I'm pretty happy we made it in the kind of 3 times trying, but you just kind of stick it out and it'll work out eventually.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You guys definitely did it for sure. So that's cool, man. I'm pumped to watch you guys up there, man. I'll be cheering for you guys.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks for redoing this with me. I appreciate it, and hopefully with everything settles down and we'll be watching you guys in the Yellow Arena. Hopefully at the same scheduled time. So
You bet. Thanks, man.
you guys do good up there.
Thanks. Appreciate it.